Good morning, traders. It's Matt here. I just have a little video for you guys going over a little bit of recap of what I've done today. And I also want to go over something that I think is extremely important and most people kind of overlook unless you actually been trading for a while. And that is trader psychology. So let's start out real quick about what we did today. So today I had two trades. I had one over NEO, and I shorted both of these plays. The other one I'm going to show you here in a minute, I actually longed it, switched bias, and then shorted it. But NEO, what I did over on NEO is I was looking at the previous day. It's been downtrending, and I was looking for the last area of pullback. Where could this thing be heading heading to that could be a support area? And the first thing I saw was this consolidation in between 154 and 157, which is kind of where I wanted to start. And that's basically what I did. Actually, I think I ended up missing it, and I jumped in around 151, 150. I tried to get it at 152, but for whatever reason, I didn't get filled. But as it just came up, it was just extremely overextended. It did end up squeezing right here, and I actually started shorting it on the way up on this squeeze, and I don't know, I just let it do its thing, and then I covered down here. I already had orders preset from this pullback right here, so I had orders at 143. I thought 142, and I think 139. I didn't get filled on the 142, but I got filled on the 143. And whenever it didn't continue down into this range, I went ahead and just covered the position. I figured it was going to bounce back up and head towards the last pullback, which would have been at 153, 150, somewhere around there. Didn't quite make it, but I made a little money, so I was pretty happy on it. The next stock I want to go over is IMRN, I believe. Yeah. So this one I started watching early this morning, and what I seen is it looked like it was consolidating around VWAP. As you can see here, it's failing to actually break down. It did make a couple lower lows, but it popped right back up. And so I decided to go ahead and try to build a long position under VWAP and around VWAP. And I think I got in at 359 and 356 and 354. And then I was looking to sell at this first resistance line, at least half of my position, just in case it did break out and went up here into the fours. But it didn't really seem likely to me, especially after it just shot straight down like that. So I started building a long position, and as it came up over VWAP, I started selling. Um, when it came back up again towards that 370 area, I'm like, I'm gonna go ahead and start building a little position in between 360 and 370 and see if it breaks out. Right here, it comes back up to the 370 area and it rejects it for a second time. So at this point, I'm like, oh shit, if this thing can't break out, it can only do one thing, and that's break down. So I went ahead and started shorting it right after. Basically, with the same concept I had for my long position, I just switched bias and went short. So I wanted to try to build my position in between 360 and 370. And unfortunately, it didn't come back up to 370 again to get my last couple fills in. But as you can see here, I shorted some more. It started coming down. I shorted it, and then I just kind of let it ride out, and I just took little pieces off around every support area. So this long-term support right here that it had for this solid hour, I took a chunk off there. I took a chunk off at the bottom of the last pullback right here before it made the move back up, and I think I took some off right at the very bottom. Yeah, I took some off right at the very bottom. And then I knew my definite death line was 330. The area of interest is 337 to 330, but I knew 330 would be my exact death line. So I went ahead and took a short there as it broke through, and it popped back up, and I kind of hesitated for a minute. I wasn't too sure if it was going to be, act as a support area, and that's where it was going to bounce at. So I didn't really want to add more right there, and it kind of made me think maybe I should take, a little bit more than half off. So whenever it dipped back down again, I went ahead and took half my position off, and then once it came back up towards retesting that death line, then I knew, like, all right, this thing is pretty much over. And I re-added to my position, and I covered part of it on the drop down, and then when I seen that it was trying to form a lower high, I went ahead and just took it all off. And then it actually rolled over, and I seen it failing to break down more, so I longed it real quick just for a quick little scalp, nothing big. Really, I probably should have held my short position since it is a deathline play, and a lot of times these do end up fading throughout the day, at least to that $2.68 mark. But yeah, I decided just to go ahead and get out. Which actually, you know what? Something's in play right now, and I want you guys to kind of think about this, right? So this came down and it found support right here at $2.90. Well, if you look at the volume right here, it's pretty much down to nothing. And then we had an increase on volume for a breakthrough of 290. Now what is it doing? It's retesting the old support as resistance. So if it breaks through 290 and holds it, then I wouldn't be short biased anymore, and I'd probably cover my position if I did hold on. But if it keeps retesting like it is, and it can't break through, then it's going to continue to fade, and I'll be looking for it to fade down to that $2.68 mark. Maybe even below it, but that's where I would have my orders at. That's basically all the plays for today. Right now, I am only using half size. I'm only using 1,000 shares just because I took 2 weeks off, and just trying to get back into the morning process. Which, if we go live tomorrow, you guys will be able to see everything up front, no problem. But let's go ahead and get into trader psychology. I think this is overlooked by a lot of newer traders, and it's something that we're going to deal with every single day. With trading psychology, I think it's actually about 80% of what goes on with trading. Trading is more of like an art form, and you want to be in the right mindset in order to paint the picture that you're trying to see. You don't want to go in angry and, you know, in a shit mood. Maybe you got in a fight with your spouse or something. It's going to change your total mindset on how you look at things. And then you're more like, oh, I want to short this stock. It's up too high, you know, and you end up just making irrational decisions because you're not going in with the mindset of unbiased. And especially this is especially true if you are on a losing streak. So if you're on a losing streak, I would strongly suggest taking a few days completely off. Don't even look at the market, and let your mind reset. Let your mind settle, because what ends up happening is when you're on a losing streak, you end up telling yourself you lose your confidence, right? And you're thinking like, oh man, like I hope I don't lose money today, and just by thinking that, you're programming your subconscious mind to look for trades that are going to make you lose money, and you don't even know this. It happens, you know, in the background of your mind. And this may be a little deep, but I find it extremely true. So after like 1 or 2 losing days, I'll actually take time off. And I also, when I said I took that 2 weeks off, I had some issues going on in my personal life, right? And I knew that when issues going on in my personal life, I wasn't going to make the best decisions based on my best interests. So I decided to go ahead and take some time off until I felt like my mind was clear enough and I was in a positive enough mood to begin trading again. And since then, you know, we're on a 2-day streak out of 2 days, and that's nothing really to be proud of, but I am proud that I was able to actually tell myself, like, hey, like, just take some time off trading, because that's the hardest thing for traders to do, you know, is to not trade. Like that. That's the reason we do this, is because we love it. So why would you not do something you love? And it's because what you love can actually harm you even more. And more often than not, that's what harms you the most. So I went ahead and took some time off. I let my mind reset and readjust it, and I came back, and you know, I figured it's like riding a bicycle. So I decided to take half size, maybe for a week or two, until I see that I'm, you know, I have my consistency. I see that I'm making, you know, sound decisions and things of that sort. I would strongly suggest getting some trading psychology books. The reason being is because you don't. A lot of times people don't even know that they're not in the right mindset, and understanding what you're thinking and how your brain works can definitely help you out in the future. You know, you don't want to get in a fight with your spouse in the morning and then, 30 minutes later decide like, oh, well, I'm going to go hit the day and start trading, because you're going to be in that negative mood. That negative mood is going to draw negative, energy towards you, or your brain's going to look for things that resemble that negative energy, such as losing money. I don't know about you or anybody else who loves losing money. I know I sure the fuck don't. So I'd rather just take the time off. Not losing money is a lot better than losing money. Not trading is a lot better than having losing trades. This is something you got to think of. Another thing I want to go over is cutting your losses quick, right? So we'll go back to Neo and use this as an example. This is just hypothetical. It's not even, nothing real here. But say when this opened up, you saw this, and you're looking at this pre-market consolidation period of, it had a high of that 129 right here. Whenever it dropped down, the new high was that 129. So you went ahead and started shorting at this 129 area. And you're like, oh yeah, it had to pull back, so it looks like, this thing could tank. You're looking for a lower high. Instead it breaks out, and you're like, all right, maybe I was wrong. Let's use 132. And you're watching it, which was the previous close. So you're watching it hit the previous close, and then it breaks through, and you're like, oh shit, all right, well, you know what, maybe it's a fake out. Maybe it's going to fake out. So you're holding on to this losing position, and it's just climbing and climbing and climbing, and you decide to add to your position at 143, and you had the big pullback, so you're like, all right, this thing's going to fucking tank. I'm hoping this thing tanks at this point, because I'm already down a whole bunch of money that I should have already just got out on in the first place, and let it make its run. And then it gets this squeeze up, and you're in panic mode. You're like, oh shit, oh shit, oh shit, and you're covering all up here in this, in this spike, which is the opposite of what you want to do majority of the time. And basically, you end up getting out because you was at a point where you just couldn't take anymore. And the best way I like to think about this as a little analogy, about a frog. So if you throw a frog into a pan of boiling water, the frog will instantly jump out. It's like, oh fuck, this shit's hot, let me jump out. But if you put a frog in a pan of cold water, and over time steadily increase the heat, you will slowly boil the frog without it even knowing. And basically, we are doing the same things to ourselves when we refuse to cut our losses short. So down here, we knew as soon as it broke the 129 area, we should have just got out and watched what it did to the 132 area. The previous close. Once it broke over the 132 area, retested it, that's a confirmation like, hey, this thing is bullish right now. And you could have just saved yourself all this heartache. And instead, you talk yourself into staying into a losing trade, a losing battle. You're letting the stock market slowly boil you alive until you get to a point where you can't take anymore, and you're going to end up getting out at the high of day. Like tell me how many times that hasn't happened to you. I know it's happened to me quite a few times, and that's something that I think every trader is going to struggle with, is letting your not letting your losses run. Just go ahead and cut the loss, and watch how it reacts to the next line, the next resistance point. And if it fails, or if you get a big spike like this, a squeeze up, and it starts rejecting, then you can go ahead and take the trade. I think trading psychology is extremely important. Extremely, extremely, extremely important. You can't make the right decisions if you're not in the right mind. I used this analogy with the trader yesterday, and when you're in a negative mindset, you're seeing the glass half empty when the glass is half full. You're seeing everything in a different perspective that might not exactly be true. You're letting your mind dictate what you see, and it's not something that we can exactly get a hold of. Your best bet is just not trade. If you wake up and you're tired, you haven't eaten, you got in a fight with your spouse, your kids are being jackasses, I don't know, just go ahead and take the day off. Take the day off. Come back with a better mind, a better mindset, a positive outlook, and something that's not unbiased. You don't want to trade in a pissed off mood, because it's only going to lead to a pissed off reaction. So I don't know. I just figured I'll kind of go over this with you guys. It's not going to be something I'm going to be able to extremely help you with. I can kind of give you guys advice on what I do, but it's going to be one of those things that you're just going to have to pull the trigger and say, like, hey, like, maybe I'm not in the best mindset to trade today. and I think that you'll find that you'll lose a lot less, you'll trade a lot better, and you'll make more sound decisions by doing so. That's pretty much all I got for you guys today. If you guys have any questions, go ahead and join Pro Stock Chat. There'll be a link in the description. Go ahead and hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell if you like the information you're receiving. And hope to talk to you guys and see you guys soon. Until then, have a good day and stay green.